Beloved friends, there is a divine source of supply that never runs dry. It flows, unfailing and eternal, into every corner of the universe and into every corner of your life if you permit it. The great secret to manifesting vast wealth, without strain or struggle, is to come into harmony with this invisible river of abundance. Money is but a symbol of the limitless good already prepared for you. It is not earned by toil alone, but called forth by your alignment with universal law. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every feeling you hold, is a seed planted in the invisible. The harvest springs from the unseen to the seen. When you hold ideas of lack, you reap scarcity. When you hold ideas of plenty, you reap abundance. The first key to manifesting large sums without lifting a finger is to cleanse your mind of every false belief about money. Say to yourself now, there is nothing between me and the unlimited riches of the universe. Words are your magic wand. When spoken with faith and feeling, they summon invisible forces into visible form. If you desire a flood of money, speak words of wealth and ease, not of poverty or struggle. Declare daily, all that is mine by divine, right now comes to me richly and freely. Say it as though it were already true, and your subconscious will open wide the gates of supply. Release the belief that money is hard to come by or must be earned by sweat. Wealth is not created by physical exertion alone, but by mental and spiritual agreement. The moment you shift your inner blueprint, the outer world rearranges itself to match your new frequency. Opportunities appear. Doors open. People are drawn to bless you. This is the power of invisible law. Gratitude is the magnet of miracles. Begin each morning blessing the abundance you already see, and bless also the abundance on its way. Gratitude raises your vibration to the level where riches rush to meet you. Feel gratitude for the money in your pocket, the roof over your head, the opportunities you haven't yet glimpsed. This feeling calls forth even greater sums. You must also learn the sacred art of non-resistance. When you release fear, clutching, and doubt, you create a vacuum the universe rushes to fill. Do not chase money, let it chase you. Stand still in inner confidence and know, what I need when I need it flows to me in perfect timing. In that calm trust, you will see channels of supply open that you never imagined. Imagination is your spiritual workshop. Every fortune that has ever been built first existed in someone's thought. See yourself already in possession of the wealth you desire. Feel the freedom it brings, the security, the joy. Act inwardly as though it were already done. This mental picture imprints upon your deeper mind, which then brings to pass the conditions that match your vision. Forgiveness clears the path to riches. Resentment blocks supply. Every time you forgive, you dissolve an obstacle in your invisible pipeline. Speak silently to every person or event that hurt you and say, I release you to your highest good. I am free, and you are free. This act lifts your vibration and allows prosperity to flow unhindered. Finally, give with joy. Even the smallest tithe or blessing you send out returns multiplied. Giving acknowledges that you are already rich. It says to the universe, I am not afraid. I am a channel of supply. And the universe responds with more to circulate through you. Beloved friends, the power to manifest huge amounts of money without lifting a finger lies not in force but in faith, not in strain but in alignment. Your thoughts, words, and feelings are the invisible levers of wealth. As you learn to speak the word, hold the vision, and trust the unseen, you will discover that money flows to you as naturally as air flows into your lungs. To align your mind with infinite supply, you must first recognize that the universe is governed by invisible laws that respond unfailingly to thought and feeling. Every thought you hold about money becomes a signal you broadcast into the unseen, and the unseen responds with matching circumstances. When you think of shortage, you draw shortage. When you think of plenty, you draw plenty. This is not superstition but a spiritual principle as exact as mathematics. Money, opportunities, gifts, and blessings are all expressions of the same limitless substance that permeates everything. When you understand this, you stop chasing and start allowing. You cease to believe that wealth is outside of you and realize it is a vibration within you. The first step is clearing away the limiting ideas you have inherited from society, family, and past experiences. You may have been taught that money is scarce, that it is hard to earn, or that spiritual people should not desire wealth. These are all false impressions. They are not laws, they are merely beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. As you recognize each limiting idea, you can replace it with a new affirmation of truth. You can declare that supply is infinite, that you are connected to it, and that it flows through you effortlessly. This is not wishful thinking but spiritual alignment. When your inner picture changes, the outer world must reflect it. Imagine a river that has been dammed by rocks and debris. The water is still abundant, but the flow is blocked. Limiting beliefs are the rocks and debris. Your job is not to create the river, but to clear the obstacles so the current can move. This clearing process involves daily vigilance of your thoughts. Every time you catch yourself worrying about money, gently shift to a thought of abundance. Every time you notice resentment or fear about finances, replace it with gratitude for supply already present. Over time, this mental discipline carves new channels in your subconscious mind, channels that naturally attract prosperity. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. And the more you see evidence of your inner work reflected in your bank account, opportunities, and life circumstances. The alignment is an ongoing practice, not a one-time act. You are training your inner self to expect good at every turn. As you cultivate this expectation, the outer world adjusts itself to bring you proof of your new belief. Another key aspect of aligning your mind with infinite supply is recognizing that supply comes through many channels but from one source. Jobs, clients, gifts, investments, and unexpected windfalls are merely avenues. They are not the true source of your wealth. When you release the need to control how supply comes, you open yourself to receive in countless ways. This requires faith and surrender. It means no longer tying your sense of security to a paycheck or a specific person but anchoring it in the infinite. When you do this, the fear of loss diminishes. You no longer feel desperate or needy, because you understand that as one door closes, another opens. This attitude draws opportunities to you, because it signals to the universe that you are a safe steward of abundance, someone who trusts the flow and will not cling or panic. Daily affirmation and visualization reinforce this alignment. Before you rise each morning, take a few moments to affirm silently that you are one with limitless supply. Picture golden light flowing through you, filling every corner of your life with wealth and freedom. Feel the relief of all bills paid, the joy of generosity, the excitement of dreams fulfilled. The subconscious mind responds to pictures and feelings more than to logic. As you continue this practice, your inner state of wealth becomes more real to you than any outer appearance of lack. Eventually, the outer world must conform to the inner conviction, because that is how the law of correspondence operates. This is why some people seem lucky with money while others always struggle. The difference is not fate but consciousness. By training your consciousness to accept infinite supply, you become one of those people for whom abundance is normal and expected. Gratitude and blessing are also powerful tools to align with infinite supply. Every time you pay a bill, bless the money as it leaves you and bless the service or product you received. Every time you see someone else enjoying wealth, silently bless their good fortune. This prevents envy and reinforces your belief in universal abundance. When you bless what others have, you signal to the universe that you, too, are ready for the same. This dissolves competitive thinking and moves you into cooperative thinking, which is closer to the nature of infinite supply. Gratitude is not merely polite manners, it is a spiritual magnet. It lifts your vibration to match the frequency of the very thing you are grateful for. When you live in gratitude for wealth, you call forth more wealth. Forgiveness is another aspect of clearing the channel to infinite supply. If you hold resentment against someone over money, you block your own flow. If you still feel bitterness about past financial losses, you keep that loss alive in your vibration. Release it. Forgive everyone and everything connected with money. Say silently to yourself, I am free and you are free, and I release all resentment. This simple inner act opens wide the gates of supply, because you no longer send out conflicting vibrations of abundance and anger. You cannot be both resentful and receptive at the same time. As you forgive, you align. As you align, you receive. It is also essential to cultivate a sense of worthiness. Infinite supply is always present, but If you secretly believe you do not deserve it, you will push it away. Examine your self-concept. Do you feel worthy of huge sums of money? Do you feel comfortable imagining yourself wealthy? If not, begin to affirm daily your divine right to abundance. Tell yourself you are a beloved child of the universe, and that as such you are heir to all good. This is not arrogance but truth. As your sense of worth grows, your ability to receive grows. You stop sabotaging opportunities. You stop undercharging for your services. You stop ignoring inspired ideas. You move into a flow of giving and receiving that mirrors the generosity of the infinite. Practicing detachment is another step toward alignment. Detachment does not mean apathy. It means you no longer tie your happiness to specific outcomes. You do your part in consciousness, and then release the timing and method of manifestation to the universe. This calm confidence allows the unseen to work on your behalf without interference. When you are tense, fearful, or desperate, you block the flow. When you are relaxed, trusting, and receptive, you invite it. Detachment is a powerful signal of faith. It says, I know supply is mine, and I do not need to force it. This relaxed attitude often brings results more quickly, because you have stepped out of the way of your own good. As you live this way, aligning your mind with infinite supply, you begin to notice subtle shifts. Unexpected gifts arrive. People offer help. Creative ideas flow to you seemingly out of nowhere. Money comes in through channels you could not have predicted. These are signs that your inner work is bearing fruit. Do not dismiss them as coincidences. Acknowledge them as proof that the law works, and give thanks. This positive feedback reinforces your belief and strengthens your alignment even more. The more you recognize the workings of infinite supply in your life, the more it expands. Your relationship with money becomes one of trust and ease rather than fear and struggle. You begin to see money not as a master but as a servant, a tool to express your higher purpose. This shift in perspective is part of alignment. When you are no longer obsessed with hoarding or fearful of losing, you naturally attract more because you are acting like the infinite itself, expansive, generous, and creative. You understand that you do not earn supply in a punitive system, but allow it to flow through you as a cooperative partner with the divine. This mental and spiritual cooperation is the heart of manifesting huge amounts of money without lifting a finger. You become the channel, and the channel is always filled. To speak prosperity words is to use the greatest creative tool you possess, your spoken word, as a channel for unseen substance to take form. Every word is a vibration, a seed, and a command to the subconscious and to the unseen intelligence of the universe. When you speak words of lack, you impress lack upon your deeper mind and call forth circumstances to match. When you speak words of plenty, you impress plenty and call forth its likeness. The tongue has the power to bless or to bind, to open doors or to close them. You do not manifest merely by wishing but by declaring, affirming, and claiming what is yours by right of consciousness. Your voice carries your conviction into the ethers, where it begins to arrange conditions, attract people, and shape events. This is why it is so essential to become vigilant with your language. When you say, I can't afford, you shut off channels of supply. When you say, money flows to me freely, you open them. The practice of speaking prosperity words begins with awareness. Listen to yourself for a day. Notice how often you complain about money, how often you predict scarcity, how often you repeat family sayings about hard times, or not enough to go around. Each time you hear yourself utter such words, stop and revise them on the spot. Say instead, I am abundantly provided for, or the universe is my unfailing supply. Speak it aloud with feeling even if it feels awkward at first. You are retraining your subconscious and your vibrational field. Over time, these new statements become automatic, and your external life shifts to match your internal declarations. Words spoken consistently with faith become beliefs, and beliefs shape reality. Affirmations of prosperity should be simple, clear, and stated in the present tense. Instead of saying, I will have money someday, say, I am now rich in substance and in form. Instead of saying, I hope to attract clients, say, my work is in constant demand and richly rewarded. This is not self-deception, but self-direction. You are telling your subconscious and the universal intelligence what to create and sustain. When you say it as if it already exists, you bypass doubt and activate the creative principle. Feeling is the booster. Speak prosperity words not in a flat monotone, but with conviction, gratitude, and excitement. This emotional charge impresses the subconscious more deeply and speeds manifestation. Another important aspect is repetition. One affirmation spoken once may have little effect, but a prosperity statement spoken dozens of times a day, every day, becomes a new inner law. Morning and night, speak your chosen affirmations. While walking, driving, or doing chores, repeat them silently or aloud. Let them become as natural as breathing. This saturation of your inner atmosphere leaves no room for contradictory ideas. Just as a musician practices scales until they become second nature, you practice prosperity words until they form your automatic response to life. When bills arrive, you say, "There is always more where that came from." When opportunities appear, you say, "This is the perfect channel for my supply." When something seems delayed, you say, "Divine timing is always perfect." These words set a mental and spiritual tone that magnetizes the conditions you desire. The power of words also extends to the way you speak about others. If you criticize the wealthy or speak ill of people who prosper, you push away your own prosperity. Bless the success of others with your words. Say, "Their good fortune shows what is possible for me too," instead of, "They don't deserve that." When you praise abundance wherever you see it, you affirm abundance in your own life. Your words become currents of blessing that return to you multiplied. This breaks the pattern of envy and competition and places you in harmony with universal supply. The law is impersonal, it gives you more of what you speak. Whether blessing or cursing, choose blessing. Visualization and spoken word combined form an even more powerful tool. As you speak your affirmations, picture in your mind the reality you desire. When you say, "Money flows to me easily," see a stream of golden coins or bills flowing into your hands. When you say, "I am surrounded by luxury," imagine yourself in the home, the environment, the freedom you seek. These images strengthen the spoken word. They give your subconscious a blueprint to follow. The subconscious cannot distinguish between an imagined event, vividly felt, and a real event. It simply responds to the input you provide. By pairing words and images, you double the signal you send to the universe. Another technique is to write your prosperity words down and speak them aloud. Writing engages the physical, mental, and emotional faculties simultaneously. Post your affirmations where you will see them: on mirrors, on your desk, on your phone. Speak them each time you see them. This constant reinforcement becomes a new mental diet that nourishes your sense of abundance. Each word plants a seed and each repetition waters it. Over time, a lush garden of prosperity grows in your consciousness and bears fruit in your circumstances. Even when outer appearances seem slow to change, your inner garden is developing roots. Continue to speak the words. The harvest is inevitable. It is also important to eliminate careless or idle words about money, humor about being broke, sarcastic remarks about bills, or dramatic statements like, "I'm dying to pay this." All carry vibrational power. Even if said in jest, they plant seeds. Replace such phrases with words of life. When a friend says, "We're all broke," you can smile and say, "I'm richly supplied." When someone says, "Times are tough," you can affirm, "Times are abundant for me." This does not mean you preach or argue, only that you quietly maintain your own frequency. Your words are your magic shield. They carve out a reality for you regardless of mass consciousness. The spoken word can also be used as a direct decree. This is more than affirmation, it is command. When you stand in a place of spiritual authority and say, "Money, appear now in perfect ways," you are calling forth substance into visible form. This should be done with reverence and confidence, knowing that the same power that set the stars in motion responds to your command. When you speak in alignment with it, use decrees sparingly and with sincerity. They can produce striking results because they bypass doubt and claim the end result as already accomplished. Over time, as your faith grows, even your ordinary words take on the power of decrees, because you have trained your subconscious to obey your voice. Speaking prosperity words also involves blessing your current money and possessions. When you handle cash, checks, or cards, say, "You multiply and return to me increased." When you pay for something, say, "I bless this transaction and expect rich returns." This habit transforms ordinary exchanges into rituals of abundance. Your words charge your money with positive energy, and that energy circulates back to you. You begin to see money as alive, as part of a flow, and your words direct that flow like a conductor directing an orchestra. This practice keeps your vibration high, and your channels open finally. Remember that silence can be as powerful as speech when used intentionally. When tempted to complain or speak of lack, choose silence instead. This prevents you from reinforcing unwanted conditions. In that silence, mentally affirm the opposite. Over time, your default reaction to any challenge becomes a calm inner declaration of abundance, rather than panic or complaint. This mastery of the tongue is mastery of your financial destiny. As you practice speaking prosperity words, you align your conscious and subconscious mind with the frequency of wealth. You become a living broadcast of abundance, and the universe cannot help but respond to the signal you send. To visualize and feel the wealth now is to enter into the creative workshop of your own mind, where all form begins. Every fortune, every empire, every financial success you can name first existed as an idea, a mental picture held long enough, and with enough conviction to be impressed upon the deeper mind. The unseen is the mold, the seen is the casting. When you hold vivid pictures of wealth in your imagination and saturate them with feeling, you are planting the very patterns of abundance in the universal substance. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. It accepts the image and begins moving circumstances, people, and ideas into alignment to produce the outward equivalent. This is why you must take the time each day to close your eyes and deliberately create inner scenes of the prosperity you desire. You become the artist, the sculptor, and the architect of your own financial reality. The clearer the picture, the stronger the impression. The stronger the impression, the more quickly the universe responds. Start by creating a quiet space where you can relax, shut out distractions, and sink into a receptive state. In this state, picture yourself already in possession of the wealth you seek. See yourself opening bank statements showing large balances. See yourself writing checks without worry. See yourself traveling where you wish to go, giving generously, living in a beautiful home, or operating your dream business. Allow the details to come alive in your imagination. See the colors, feel the textures, hear the sounds. The richer the sensory experience, the deeper the subconscious registers it. This is not idle daydreaming, but a purposeful exercise of creative power. You are rehearsing the future in the theater of your mind. As you do so, you establish a magnetic field around you that draws matching experiences from the outer world. Feeling is the secret ingredient. A picture without feeling is like a seed without water. It may contain the pattern, but it cannot grow. As you visualize, cultivate the emotions you would naturally feel if your wealth were already here. Feel the relief of financial freedom, the excitement of new possibilities, the gratitude of having more than enough, the pride of generosity, the peace of security. Let these feelings expand in your chest, flow through your body, and radiate outward. When you combine mental images with strong positive emotion, you activate a law far beyond mere positive thinking. You impress the deeper creative forces with a vivid command. They respond to the language of feeling. They translate your emotionalized images into conditions and events. The more often you practice this, the more natural it becomes, until your subconscious accepts abundance as your normal state and begins to create it effortlessly in your external life. Another key is to visualize in the present tense. See yourself not as someone hoping to be rich someday, but as someone who is rich now. Step into that version of yourself. Ask, how do I dress, speak, walk, and feel as a wealthy person? Then practice those attitudes in your mind and, where possible, in your daily life. This is not pretending but training. You are training your nervous system to hold a new identity. When your inner identity shifts, your actions, choices, and circumstances shift to match it. Wealth then becomes not something you chase but something you express. By living from the end in your imagination, you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The subconscious begins to close that gap by orchestrating opportunities, coincidences, and inspiration's visualization can also be supported with written statements and symbols. You may create a vision board filled with images representing your desired lifestyle. You may write in a journal as if you already have the money. You may carry a symbolic check in your wallet written to yourself for a large sum. Each time you see these symbols, take a moment to feel the reality they represent. Speak your affirmations as you look at them. This constant reinforcement deepens the groove in your subconscious mind. It keeps your attention on abundance instead of lack. Wherever your attention goes, energy flows. The more you direct your attention to pictures of wealth, the more energy you give to creating it. This is why many masters of manifestation spend time each day with their mental pictures before any outer action. They know the invisible precedes the visible. Do not be discouraged if at first your visualization feels weak or your feelings feel forced. Like any skill, it strengthens with practice. Each time you return to the image of your wealthy self, you add another brushstroke to the painting. Each time you evoke the feeling of abundance, you pour another layer of energy into the mold. Eventually, the picture in your mind becomes more vivid than your current circumstances. At that point, change in the outer world becomes inevitable, because your inner blueprint has shifted. The law of correspondence dictates that outer experience must match inner state. This is why persistence is crucial. Return to your visualization morning and night. Live in it, breathe it, and let it become second nature. Another powerful technique is to involve your body in the visualization. As you see yourself wealthy, adopt the posture and breathing of someone who is relaxed and confident. Smile as if you have just received wonderful news. Walk around your space as if you are walking through your dream home. Touch objects and imagine they are symbols of your abundance. This physical anchoring makes the visualization even more convincing to your subconscious mind. You are not only thinking it, you are embodying it. This embodiment speeds up the process, because your nervous system begins to adapt to the new frequency. You literally become a match to your desired reality, and therefore attract it more easily. Forgiveness and mental clearing also enhance visualization. If you carry guilt, shame, or resentment about money, those emotions can conflict with the images you are creating. Take time to release these feelings before or after your visualization sessions. Say silently to yourself, "I forgive myself for any misuse of money. I release all others from debts in my mind. I am free and clear." This opens your channel so that the images you create flow unimpeded into manifestation. Without this clearing, your subconscious may sabotage your efforts because it holds contradictory instructions. By forgiving and releasing, you align all parts of yourself with the vision you are building. As your visualization practice deepens, you will start to notice subtle shifts. You may feel calmer about money, more confident about opportunities, more generous with what you have. These are signs that your identity is changing. You may also find new ideas, contacts, or synchronicities showing up seemingly by chance. This is the outer world rearranging itself to match your inner picture. Do not ignore these signs. Act on the inspiration and opportunities that feel right. They are the bridges between your inner work and your outer manifestation. Each inspired action you take, even if small, is like adding momentum to a rolling ball. It speeds up the arrival of the larger results you seek over time. Visualizing and feeling the wealth now becomes your natural state of being. You no longer beg or strain because you know the wealth already exists in the unseen and is steadily moving toward you. You trust the process and you enjoy it. You develop a rich inner life where your dreams are real to you. And from that inner reality flows the outer reality. This is the ancient secret used by all who have transcended circumstances and created abundance seemingly from nothing. They began with a vision, they filled it with feeling, and they held it until it hardened into fact. By making visualization and feeling a daily practice, you step into the same creative stream. You become a conscious co-creator with the infinite, shaping substance with your imagination and emotion, calling forth the wealth that is already yours in potential into form you can hold in your hands and experience in your life. To release resistance and trust divine timing is to shift from a state of tension and control into one of calm expectation and inner certainty. Resistance is any thought, feeling, or belief that contradicts the abundance you say you want. It can show up as fear, worry, self-doubt, impatience, or trying to force things before their season. When you are tense about money, you send out mixed signals to the universe. On one hand, you say you want prosperity, but on the other hand, your energy declares you do not believe it will come unless you push and strain. This contradiction slows or blocks the flow of supply. The spiritual law of abundance does not respond to desperation or pressure, it responds to faith and openness. Letting go of resistance is not passive, it is a deliberate act of inner alignment. It is choosing to release mental clutter and emotional tension, so the channels of supply can open freely. Begin by becoming aware of where you are holding resistance in your life. Notice the conversations you have about money, the thoughts that run automatically in your mind, and the feelings that rise when bills arrive or opportunities appear. Resistance often feels like a tightening in the body or a sense of dread. Once you identify it, you can release it. One way to release is through breath. Sit quietly. Breathe deeply and imagine exhaling fear, worry, and tension about money. Inhale trust, ease, and openness. This simple practice can calm your nervous system and create the inner space for new ideas and solutions to come. Another way to release resistance is to use affirmative statements, such as, "I let go and trust the perfect flow of abundance," or, "Everything I need comes to me in perfect timing." Speaking these words while breathing deeply imprints a new rhythm on your subconscious. Trusting divine timing means recognizing that there is an order, rhythm, and intelligence to the unfolding of your desires. Seeds take time to germinate underground before sprouting into the light. Likewise, your affirmations, visualizations, and intentions set causes in motion in the unseen before results appear in the physical world. When you insist that things happen by a specific date or in a specific way, you can strangle the very process you have initiated. By contrast, when you affirm, "This or something better now manifests for me in perfect timing," you open yourself to an infinite array of channels and sequences. You become receptive to the best outcome, rather than locked into a limited picture. Trust allows the unseen to orchestrate events more beautifully and abundantly than you could plan yourself. Letting go of resistance also involves forgiving the past. Financial wounds, disappointments, or perceived failures can create subconscious tension that keeps you stuck. Every time you recall a painful money memory and feel bitterness, you tighten the channel of flow. Practice forgiving yourself for past mistakes and forgiving others for any financial harm. Say to yourself, "I release the past and bless the lessons learned." As you do this, you lighten your vibrational load. The universe responds to a light, clear energy more readily than to a heavy, conflicted one. Forgiveness is not condoning poor behavior, it is freeing yourself from the grip of resentment, so you can receive a new. Another way to dissolve resistance is through gratitude for what already is. When you bless your current financial situation, no matter how small it may seem, you shift your focus from lack to abundance. Gratitude is a form of acceptance, and acceptance softens resistance. Each morning, list things you appreciate about your life and your current money flow. Say thank you for every bit of supply, every opportunity, every gesture of kindness. Gratitude opens your heart and relaxes your body, which creates the optimal conditions for ideas, opportunities, and unexpected channels of money to enter your life. This relaxed state is the opposite of clenching and forcing. It is a state of allowing, and in allowing, things arrive quickly and smoothly. Trusting divine timing also means trusting your own inner guidance. When you quiet your mind and tune in, you often receive intuitive nudges about when to act, where to go, and whom to contact. Acting on these inner prompts at the right moment can yield results far beyond what ordinary effort produces. By contrast, ignoring your intuition and trying to push ahead before the right time can create delays and frustrations. Cultivate a habit of listening inwardly. Ask, "What is mine to do today?" And then act on the gentle impulses you receive. This partnership with your inner wisdom makes your actions more effective and your waiting periods more peaceful. You understand that waiting is not stagnation but gestation. Something is always happening beneath the surface on your behalf. It is also useful to cultivate a mindset of sufficiency. Often, Resistance arises from the feeling that you do not yet have enough, or that you are falling behind. When you affirm your sufficiency in the present, you stop pushing against life. You say to yourself, I have enough now, and more is on the way. This calms the nervous system and signals to the universe that you are a trustworthy steward of greater wealth. You release the energy of grasping and replace it with the energy of receiving. From this state, inspired ideas come, supportive people appear, and money flows through channels you did not previously see. You are no longer blocking your own blessings with fear and doubt. Visualization can be combined with letting go to further release resistance. Picture yourself floating on a gentle stream, being carried effortlessly toward your desires. Imagine dropping heavy bags of worry into the water and watching them drift away. Feel the relief of not having to carry or control everything. See yourself arriving at your goals in perfect ease, guided by unseen hands. This mental imagery trains your subconscious to expect ease instead of struggle. It dissolves the old program that says, I must do it all myself, and replaces it with, I am supported by infinite intelligence. The subconscious then begins to bring you experiences matching that new belief. Physical relaxation also supports the release of resistance. Engage in activities that soothe your body and calm your mind, whether it is walking in nature, meditating, gentle stretching, or listening to uplifting music. A relaxed body is a receptive body. As you let go of physical tension, you also let go of mental tension. This creates a state of openness where inspiration and abundance can flow more easily. You begin to experience coincidences, serendipities, and effortless solutions. What once felt like a locked door begins to swing open, because you are no longer pushing against it. You are allowing it to open on its own hinges. Another important aspect of trusting divine timing is to drop comparison with others. When you measure your progress against someone else's, you create frustration and resistance. You may think, they have it already. Why don't I? Which reinforces a sense of lack. Instead, bless their success and return to your own path. Remind yourself that your life has its own rhythm, its own seasons, and its own perfect unfolding. When you align with your unique timing, things arrive with precision and grace. The oak tree does not envy the rose. Each blooms in its season. Likewise, your financial bloom will appear when your inner and outer conditions are ready. Trusting this allows you to relax and enjoy the journey, rather than straining for the destination. Letting go of resistance and trusting divine timing also means being open to unexpected forms of good. Money may not always come in the exact way you imagined. It may come through a gift, an opportunity, a partnership, a new idea, or a sudden shift in circumstances. By staying open and flexible, you give the universe more ways to deliver. This openness prevents the bottleneck effect, created by insisting on one path only. When you release your grip on the how, and focus on the feeling of abundance instead, you are free to receive through countless channels. This multiplies your chances of manifestation and accelerates your results. As you practice releasing resistance and trusting timing, you develop an inner confidence that is unshakable. You stop reacting to appearances of delay or lack. You hold your inner state steady, knowing that everything is working together for your highest good. This steadiness itself becomes a magnet for supply. People sense your calm certainty and are drawn to work with you, invest in you, or offer opportunities. The universe mirrors your inner ease with outer ease. In this way, money begins to flow to you as naturally as breath, not because you forced it, but because you stopped blocking it. You become a clear channel through which abundance moves, and in that clarity you discover that life has always been willing to give you more than you dared to request, once you were ready to receive it. To practice gratitude and generous giving is to open the channels through which abundance flows, and to multiply the good that already exists in your life. Gratitude is a magnetic force. When you focus on what you have and sincerely appreciate it, you draw to yourself more of the same. Each thought and feeling of appreciation is like a signal sent out to the universe announcing that you are ready for greater blessings. Generous giving is the other side of the same coin. When you release a portion of your good with a joyful heart, you acknowledge that you are already provided for, and you create a vacuum the universe rushes to fill. These two practices together form a powerful circuit of inflow and outflow, a rhythm that mirrors the heartbeat of life itself. Gratitude draws, giving circulates. Together they keep your supply alive, fresh, and ever increasing. Begin by cultivating daily gratitude for everything you can identify in your life. Before you rise in the morning, list silently the things you are thankful for. The air you breathe, the roof over your head, the friends who support you, the opportunities unfolding, the money you already have no matter how small, the food you eat, the skills you possess. As you go through your day, pause often to mentally say, "Thank you," for even the simplest things. This continuous stream of gratitude shifts your focus from lack to sufficiency, from fear to trust. Over time it rewires your subconscious mind to expect good rather than worry about loss. This expectation acts as a magnet, attracting experiences, people, and opportunities that match your thankful state. Deep gratitude is not just a mental list, but a feeling state. Feel the appreciation rising in your heart and expanding through your body. When you feel gratitude, your vibration rises, your nervous system relaxes, and you enter a receptive state. This receptive state is the fertile soil where ideas and opportunities sprout. It also acts as an antidote to envy, frustration, and impatience. You cannot simultaneously hold resentment and genuine gratitude. The latter dissolves the former. This is why gratitude is such a powerful tool for manifesting abundance. It cleanses your emotional atmosphere of resistance and replaces it with openness. In that openness, more flows. Equally important is learning to express gratitude for things not yet visible. When you give thanks in advance, you demonstrate faith. You say to the universe, "I trust that my supply is already on its way." This act of anticipatory gratitude pulls future good into the present by aligning your vibration with the result you desire. Each time you thank the universe for money, not yet in your hand, but on its way, you strengthen the bridge between your inner intention and your outer experience. This is a practice used by many of the world's most effective manifestors. They live in gratitude as if their dreams have already come true, and in so doing, they hasten their arrival. Generous giving complements gratitude by putting you in the flow of circulation. Money, like water, becomes stagnant when hoarded. When you give, you keep the river of supply moving. This does not mean you must give huge amounts or deplete yourself. It means you give consciously and joyfully in proportion to your current means. Even a small act of giving done with love sends a powerful message to your subconscious. I have more than enough. I am a channel, not a container. This sense of being a channel allows greater supply to pass through you. The universe entrusts more to those who circulate it rather than cling to it. You can begin by giving in ways that feel natural and uplifting. Tithe a small percentage of your income to causes that inspire you. Give to friends or strangers in need without expecting repayment. Offer your time, skills, or kind words as gifts. The key is the feeling behind the giving. If you give reluctantly or out of obligation, you do not activate the law of increase. But when you give with joy, with a sense of freedom and delight, you open the floodgates. You align yourself with the universal principle of generosity. Life itself is constantly giving. The sun gives light, the earth gives food, the air gives breath, and when you mirror that principle, you harmonize with the source of all supply. Another important point is to bless your giving. Before you release money, silently affirm that it returns to you multiplied. Say, "This gift blesses both giver and receiver and returns to me increased." This simple blessing charges your gift with intention. It acknowledges the spiritual circulation of supply. Many people have experienced remarkable financial upturns simply by adopting this habit of blessing their giving. It transforms every act of expenditure from loss to investment, from depletion to multiplication. Each bill paid, each donation made becomes a seed planted in the field of infinite return. Gratitude and giving also help dissolve fear about money. Fear thrives on the belief in limitation. Gratitude disproves limitation by focusing on what is already here. Giving disproves limitation by demonstrating you can afford to release and still be supported. Together they break the cycle of scarcity thinking and create a new cycle of trust. In that cycle, you begin to see evidence everywhere that you live in an abundant universe. Unexpected income appears, discounts or gifts arrive, opportunities unfold. Each sign reinforces your new belief, and your belief shapes more experience. This upward spiral builds momentum, until abundance feels normal and inevitable. Practicing gratitude and giving can also heal relationships around money. When you are grateful to others for their contributions, services, or support, you strengthen the bonds of goodwill that lead to mutual prosperity. When you give freely to others, you generate trust and loyalty. People sense your generous spirit and want to reciprocate. This can open doors professionally, socially, and financially. Your reputation becomes that of someone who uplifts and enriches, which naturally attracts abundance. The energy you circulate through gratitude and generosity returns to you not only as money but as goodwill, opportunities, and expanded networks of support. You may find it helpful to ritualize your gratitude and giving. Keep a gratitude journal where you write 5 or 10 things you appreciate each day. Review it at night to fall asleep in a thankful state. Set aside a special envelope or account for giving, and decide in advance how much you will circulate. Perform a small gratitude meditation before you pay bills or make donations. These rituals anchor the practices into your daily life and give them greater power. Over time, they become habits of thought and action. Gratitude becomes your default response to life. Giving becomes your default expression of abundance. This is how you reprogram your subconscious to expect and allow prosperity. Generosity also extends beyond money to your attitude, your time, and your attention. Compliment people freely. Share your knowledge without hoarding. Offer encouragement and support. Give a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand. All of these acts signal to the universe that you live in overflow, that you are not afraid of depletion. In response, the universe mirrors your overflow back to you in countless forms, including financial abundance. This holistic approach to generosity turns your entire life into a magnet for good. The combined power of gratitude and generous giving can transform even the most entrenched patterns of scarcity. By focusing on what you have, you stop energizing what you lack. By giving, you prove to yourself and to the universe that you trust in continual supply. Each day you practice these principles, you carve new grooves of abundance in your consciousness. These grooves become rivers, and those rivers carry wealth, ideas, relationships, and opportunities into your experience. Over time, you discover that gratitude and generosity are not just moral virtues, but practical tools for manifesting huge amounts of money without lifting a finger, because they align your inner state with the endless flow of universal supply.